Hey, it's Hannah. We're going to move through a yoga practice to release the hips. Short and sweet, no props needed. Let's get right into it. We're going to start just lying down any way that's comfortable for you. And take a long breath in. And let it go. Pull your knees in. And start to move your knees around and make a few circles here. And bring your knees in the opposite direction. And keep a hold of the right leg. Drop your left foot flat onto the floor so your knee stays bent. Hug your right knee in a little bit closer. And then reach your right foot up to the sky. Roll out through your ankle. And then see if you could reach your heel a little higher than your toes. Really getting into your calf and hamstring here. Bend your knee, keep your foot flexed, and place your right ankle over your left thigh. Think about your right knee moving away from the face. Reach your arms wide and lazily drop to the outer edge of your left foot. Keeping your legs as they are in that figure 4 shape. Bring the sole of your right foot down towards the left. It might touch the ground, it might not. Continue to send that knee away from your face. Take a breath or two right here. If you want a little something for the neck, you can look away from your knees. Look up to the ceiling. Inhale to bring the sole of your left foot flat onto the floor. Keep your ankle over the thigh and roll to the inner edge of your left foot. The weight of your right ankle can help to pull that left knee down. And you might feel this through the front of your left hip and thigh. Again, you can look away from the legs, looking to the left thumb. And over time, maybe that knee comes to the ground, maybe it doesn't. As long as you're feeling a stretch, you're doing it perfectly. The next time you breathe in, look to the ceiling, bring your left foot flat onto the floor. Exhale to interlace your fingers around that left thigh, if it's available to you. Again, right knee stays working away from the face, so a little bit of pressure, ankle to thigh. And then try reaching your left leg up. Sneaking in a hamstring stretch for the left leg into your right side hip release. Bend your left knee. Lower your left foot, lower your right foot. Hug just the left leg in now, and we'll even that out. Reach your left foot up high, point and flex through the foot. Place your ankle over the opposite thigh. You could even take your left hand and press it against your left thigh or knee. From here, let's drop to the outer edge of that right foot. Sole of the left foot comes down towards the right. You might be a foot away from the floor. Your foot might be touching the floor. Just aim for sensation over the way it looks. Are you feeling a release through that outer left hip and thigh? Use your inhale to look to the ceiling, bring your legs to center. Exhale to drop your legs the other way. Maybe you look to the right. And come back to center with your gaze, with your legs. Reach your hands for that right thigh. Pull your legs in. Maybe reach your right foot up to the ceiling. Lower right foot, lower left foot. Bring the soles of your feet together and your knees wide for butterfly. Inner hips and thighs. Every exhale, imagine your knees getting a little heavier. And feel free to pause this video and land here a little bit longer. Otherwise, we'll continue to deepen that inner hip and thigh stretch. To do this, we're going to come up and come to seated. Send your right leg long. Keep your left knee bent, sole of the foot towards the thigh. Reach your arms up and just fold down in the center of your legs here. So you don't need to hinge over the leg. Just go forward. Try to keep your spine long. Keeping your spine long is what's going to keep the sensation into the hips and out of your spine. You can come down as low as you'd like. Try to keep your sit bones rooted to the ground, spine long. I like to flex my foot. You might like to point. It's up to you. And come on up, and we'll switch out the legs. Wiggle around. Find where you would like to be. And again, you can stay up if you want. You can lean back or fold forward. And just a couple more breaths here. Prioritize a long spine rather than getting low. So a lot of the time people will round their back to try to bring their forehead to the ground. That's mostly just stretching your back. So long spine, maybe a good distance away from the floor. That's where you're going to feel this into your legs and hips. You can even try it out. Notice what feels different. And come on up. Now we're going to come into a frog pose. There's a lot of different ways to do this. Some folks and their knees will prefer to do a wide leg child's pose. Knees wide, toes touch, sinking hips back towards heels. You can lower down as much as you'd like. Others might prefer to do a deeper release for the hips. So for this, I like to turn so I'm lengthwise on the mat so that my knees have that support. And I've also got a blanket over my mat here. So I'll show you from the side first. What we're going to do is come up to hands and knees. You can widen out as much as you'd like through the knees. You're keeping your hips in line with your knees. So they're not way back towards your heels. That would be a child's pose. And they're not way forward. That would be really uncomfortable. So knees nice and wide. Hips in line with knees. forearms can come down. If you've got the space, you can always tuck a few pillows underneath your body here so you can really rest. I like to flex my feet and point the toes out. Again, feeling this through the same places we felt the previous shapes, inner hips and thighs. Try to keep your breath slow, jaw soft. And we're going to stay for about 5 more breaths. When you're ready, bring your palms to the ground. Slowly walk your knees in towards each other. You might like to just kneel with your knees together, maybe a child's pose with the legs together. When you feel satisfied, come on up to tabletop. We're going to slide the right knee towards the right wrist. Slide that left leg back. You can stay up. You can fold down for pigeon pose. What would a hip class be without a pigeon pose? If you want to make this more intense, the closer you bring your shin to parallel with the short edge of your mat, the more intense it will be. If you want less, you can shift your weight into that right hip, slide your left thigh up to meet the right foot, and hang out in deer pose. Maybe you fold. And check that you can breathe. And not just breathing forcefully, but that calm, slow, relaxed yoga breath. For even more, and getting into the quad, the front of the hip and thigh, you can bend your back leg, maybe reach for your foot with your hand. You can stay up or come down. Wherever you are, let's stay for 3 more breaths. From here, shift your weight into that right hip. And we're going to do a fun little transition to the second side. Just windshield wiper your knees the other way. Slide your right leg back, left knee forward. Second side of pigeon. Whatever variation you'd like. Slow and steady breaths. Outer left hip, thigh, glute, and getting that sweet stretch here. You can layer in your quad stretch if you'd like. One more breath. And let it go. Shift your weight into that left leg and just meet me in seated. And take a few breaths. Maybe your hands come to your heart and you tune into the feeling of your heartbeat or your breath in your thumbs. Thank you so much for being here and practicing with me. If you liked this and you want more and you want it slower, check out some of my yin classes. They'll do really deep hip work. They take a little bit longer, but you get very deep into the hips. So feel free to check that out on my page. Otherwise, have a great day. I hope you're feeling good and released. Peace.